name is Sarah, and I want to start off this video by asking you guys, how are you? Now, right when I said that question, I'm sure you guys wanted to say, I'm good, or I'm okay. Now, instead of using those generic kind of terms, which I use also all the time, instead of saying I'm good, sad, mad, or angry, we want to use more descriptive, specific words. So, for example, if I'm feeling angry today, I could use different words like grumpy, frustrated, or offended. See how differently those sounds? You guys can immediately understand what they mean, right? Instead of the broad term angry, we can narrow it down to emotions like this. Another example, if I'm feeling happy, which seems good, but we want to know more specifically, we could say thankful, content, relaxed, elated, comfortable, things like that. Now, I want you guys to actually try to look up your own kind of labeling your emotions form. This will really help you guys when you're trying to figure out, how am I feeling today? Am I feeling stressed, anxious, elated? What am I feeling right now? So it will help yourself and the person you're communicating to really truly understand what emotion I am feeling today. I hope this helps, guys. Have a great day.
Hey guys, when it comes to emotions, I think it's very important to figure out what you are feeling. So for example, if you are angry, it's important to gather your thoughts and to take a step back and to try and reevaluate as to what got you angry, why you're angry, and how you can overcome that. If you keep on letting the anger overcome, then it can go into a worse situation where you may say some things that you don't mean to someone who's very important to you. So it's important to make sure you gather your thoughts, you take a step back, and you don't speak in the moment, because that can lead to something worse. Also, when you're sad, you have to reevaluate as to what made you sad, how you can overcome that, and to just know that it's a temporary emotion and it's not going to be permanent. So it is okay to feel these way, to feel sad, angry, but you have to know why you felt that way. And if it was someone that hurt you, then maybe you let that person know how you felt, how they made you feel, but in a calm situation, just so they know how to better respect you in the future.
Hey, it's Naomi, one of the interns at Goals, and today's Wellness Wednesday video is going to be on how to communicate emotions. Specifically, I want to be talking to you about the use of letters. When I mean letters, I mean like writing out your emotions on paper or typing it out, and also how to use pauses in conversations. So let's get started. So the first question is, what are emotions? So emotions have three key elements. You have the subjective experience, meaning that your emotions depend on you and you alone, because not everybody has the same exact feelings as you, or express it the same way, or think of it as the same way. And then the second element is a physiological response. This means like how your body physically reacts to an emotion. So this could be, if you're angry, you can start having racing of the heart, sweaty palms, those types of things. And then the third element of an emotion is the actual response, or the behavioral response. And this is the way you actually express the emotion. So if you're angry, you might do it as yelling, or using sarcasm, or even crying it out. So the fact that the next question is that, why is it important to communicate your emotions? And the main thing is that you want to effectively communicate that emotion, because our emotions vary from person to person, and not everybody understands it from your perspective. So it's important that they understand it from your perspective, because again, nobody can read your mind. Only you know what's on your mind, and you have to be willing and able to communicate what is that thing that is bothering you. So And this also helps really clarify any misunderstandings that could have happened. You might have thought, this person said it in this way to affect you this way, but in reality, they meant it this way. So let's move on to the last slide, which is the methods of communicating your emotions. So the first thing is how to communicate your emotions through letters. So the way written words help is that it helps you to thoroughly reflect on the situation for yourself and also how you are feeling towards that situation. Writing helps clarify, again, the situation and communicate your perspective to the other individual who might not really understand where you're coming from. And it also helps clarify any misunderstandings, as I said before. If you are using this as a method to communicate to a friend, it helps you to become a better friend because you're able to, express the emotions and really be authentic and genuine with the person. It helps you solve conflict, again, but it does it in a compassionate way. The one thing with writing is that you want to be assertive in your writing. You don't want to come off as rude, but you also don't want to just pass by on your emotions, because again, the whole reasoning behind doing the letters is getting your emotions noticed and acknowledged. So you want to have a balance between both, and you want to do this so that the other individual can also be encouraged to open up to you, whether it be writing back to you or just talking to you in person. And then also, it's a great method, especially if you are one that is kind of reserved. You don't have to be a professional writer. You communicate what you know. And the one thing that is necessary for when writing a letter is willingness to be vulnerable with the individual and your own emotions, and desire your relationships with your family members or friends to be more authentic and fulfilling, and have that to be the reason why you're doing letters in the first place. So the last thing is talking about pausing during conversations. So it is important to pause. I say this with experience because growing up, I had to learn how to communicate my feelings. The one thing I wish I knew was to pause in conversations where I felt, a bunch of emotions just rise up. I either would bottle that up or it'll come out as an outburst. So you really need to learn now, while you're young, to communicate emotions effectively. Pausing allows you to get your thoughts together without having your emotions cloud your judgment. It helps you not miss over key points that you want to express to the individual, and also it helps you say the appropriate things. I know a lot of people, when they get so much into their emotions, they end up saying things that they regret later on, and that's not what we want to accomplish in our friendships and relationships, because that will really cause damage to the relationship. So I hope you guys take these things into perspective, and I hope you guys do try out these two methods to see if it will help you communicate with your own emotions. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Guys, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. For this week's topic, it is on how to communicate emotions, and I will be teaching you a couple of tips on how to learn to express your emotions in a healthy manner. So when it comes to conveying your deepest feelings and emotions, it can be very challenging. Feelings are the sort of things that become very controlling in a situation. So my first tip would be to find the right time. So be intentional when you try to communicate your feelings. Sometimes we pick absolutely the wrong time to explain our needs to another person. They could be distracted, tired, busy, or even in a bad mood. Instead, you need to talk to someone or confront a friend about a certain situation. Pick a time when they can give you their full attention. The second tip would be to be calm and clear with your feelings. We often believe that speaking out our feelings will result in an immediate change in a person's behavior, and we will be able to get what we want out of it. But think before you act. Do not let your emotions determine your actions. Let your feelings, logic, and reason determine your action. This way you can think clearly and act calm. The third one is to write it down. In certain scenarios, your feelings are not a result of a person, but a situation. So instead, write it down. In other words, journal about your feelings or a situation that is bothering you. You don't have to tell or show anyone this journal or what you wrote about. This is all for you to vent out and reflect back to. But if you want to share, then you can, but you don't have to. So write down what is stressing you, why it's stressing you, and how you can tackle the situation. The fourth one would be don't bottle things up. Often we get caught up into our day-to-day life. We tend to suppress our feelings, whether it is stress with work, relationship drama, or even financial issues. There is absolutely nothing wrong with having an occasional vent, whether it is to a close friend, a sibling, or even a counselor. Expressing even the smallest bothers can allow you to identify problems in your life and to overcome them. The fifth one is to not forget to listen. So often we are clouded by our emotions about a situation. We forget to understand that there may be another party involved. So sharing your feelings is not supposed to be a one-sided thing. The more you listen, the more likely you'll gain the clues on how to avoid the situation in the future. So effective communication is always a two-way street. So avoid interrupting the other person when they respond to your feelings. Remain calm, patient, and be an active listener.
Welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. I'm excited to talk to you guys about how to communicate your emotions better on this week's topic. And for me, I believe one of the most important things about communicating your emotions and just a general skill to have is being self-aware. Now that means you're able to identify what makes you happy, sad, anxious, excited. It is being able to know your emotions, strengths, and weaknesses. When we know where we struggle, it allows us to grow because we can be intentional about working on those things. And knowing our weaknesses also allows us to avoid making false promises. For example, if I know I'm not good at lifting really heavy things, I would not promise my friend that I would help them move into their new home because that's something I'm not good at. And also being self-aware of where our strengths are helps us do the opposite. For example, I know I'm a very good listener and empathizing with others. So when I know a friend of mine is struggling, I'm able to offer my support and listen to their struggles. And just being self-aware just really helps communicate your emotions. Because sometimes when people aren't self-aware, they experience emotions such as sadness and shame or things like that, and they don't know how to communicate what they're feeling and end up lashing out at others. And that's just because they don't know how to express what they're feeling, because they don't know exactly what they're feeling. So I encourage you to take some time to write down your feelings and thoughts throughout the day, just to know what each emotion feels like physically and mentally, because they all feel different. We can especially feel some emotions in our body. And so I just encourage you to be intentional about recognizing your emotions.
Hey guys, so today for Wellness Wednesday, we are talking about how to communicate emotions, and I'm going to talk about doing the 5 senses game in order to stay calm and help you figure out your thoughts. So when you're really panicking and your mind's going all over the place, it's hard to kind of ground yourself and figure out what you want to do, what you think. So how the 5 senses game works is you can choose what sense you want to do for each of the 5 things, but I would suggest things that are easier to point out to do 5 and less easier to point out to do 1. So for 5, you choose 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can touch, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And again, you can change it up. You can do 5 things you can taste, but I think that list is the easiest levels of what you can do with each sense, and it just helps you calm down, and it also makes you more aware of your surroundings as well, and it can help you collect your thoughts and concentrate on what you're feeling.
Hi everyone, welcome to Wellness Wednesdays. Today we're going to be talking about how to communicate emotions. Obviously right now we're all going through a very interesting time of the year. A lot of things are going on, the pandemic, the election, so many of us have a lot of emotions going through us. So we're going to be talking about how to communicate emotions, and my tips for you guys is to kind of, if you ever feel upset or something's going on, just stepping back from the situation, relaxing, distracting yourself, and then reflecting and revisiting that emotion. Because I understand that sometimes when we're very angry or we're very upset or we're very hurt, we tend to be very impulsive in our feelings and think irrationally or think thoughts that we normally or typically wouldn't think, which makes us sometimes do decisions that we normally wouldn't do. So my advice would be, if you ever feel upset or whether it's angry for any reason, take a step back, relax, and reflect. So I hope you guys have a good Wednesday.
Welcome to Wellness Wednesday, and today's topic is how to communicate your feelings. It is really important to talk about your emotions and your feelings, whether it's to yourself or to someone you trust, to a stranger, to someone online, your family, your friends, just anywhere that you can express your feelings. That is a safe environment for you and you feel comfortable sharing that information. It's really important to talk about your feelings because it allows you to acknowledge how you're feeling. And when you acknowledge how you're feeling and you kind of take a step back, like from life, and kind of just recognize like how you're feeling, you're able to take control of your life, your feelings, your emotion, and anything that is happening currently in your life. It allows you to control it, which is like such a big reason why you should talk about your feelings and acknowledge your feelings, whether it's journaling it down or just taking a step back and meeting up with a friend and just talking about like how your life is going. But yeah, it's really important to talk about your feelings instead of holding it back and like compiling it into a little bubble, and then one day it's just gonna explode, rather than just talking about it day by day or week by week to kind of just relieve that tension feeling.
Hi everyone, welcome to Wellness Wednesdays. So for this week's topic, we're going to be talking about how to communicate your emotions, and the topic that I'm going to be focusing on is how to acknowledge your emotions and how to identify each emotion one by one and acknowledge that your emotions are valid. Communicating emotions can be very hard for a person, and it depends on how you are as a person, how you communicate how you're feeling, but sometimes it could be very hard. And I think the first step to being able to communicate your emotions is to be able to acknowledge that you do have emotions and that your feelings are valid. Whatever you are feeling in that moment, it is valid and it is okay. You have to acknowledge that and acknowledge that you have emotions that are present at the time. And then what you can do also to help better communicate your emotions is to identify exactly what those emotions are. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean identifying if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling mad. I feel frustrated, I feel upset, I feel sad, I feel happy. All of the different things, it helps a lot if you identify them each one by one, or just single-handedly identify the emotions. So the emotion of being sad. So instead of saying, I just feel like everything's going crazy, you can say, I feel upset that everything is going crazy. I feel frustrated that things aren't going my way. So just keep pinpointing those emotions will really help you in the long run to help communicate your emotions. And just remember, your emotions are always valid and you can always communicate your emotions if you try.
Hey everyone, welcome back for Wellness Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about how to communicate emotions. Today I will be briefly telling you a little bit about how to take responsibility for the emotions that you have. While certain people and situations can influence our emotions, it's important to remember that ultimately we are responsible for our feelings. We don't always choose how we feel, but it is our decision on how we react to certain people and situations. We can react in a constructive way or a destructive way. So for instance, if someone tells you something that you don't like, you may automatically want to respond with anger and lash out at them, but you have to understand this is a destructive choice. It's better to respond in a constructive way, to calmly collect your thoughts and tell them how you feel in a constructive way that isn't hurting anyone's feelings in the process. It's important to remember that feelings aren't a permission pass to hurt other people. When you refuse to take responsibility for your emotions, they can quickly become an excuse for bad decision making.
Hi everyone, welcome to Wellness Wednesday, and this week I'm going to talk to you about how to express your feelings. Now, a great way to express your feelings, especially when you are maybe having an argument or disagreement with someone, a good tip is to have a mediator. A mediator is someone that sits between the two of you and whoever you're having the argument or discussion with. They hear both sides of your stories and allow both of you to tell what you want to tell the other person. Now, this person that is a mediator either has to know both of you or not know you at all. And this way it takes away the bias that the mediator may have, so the mediator does not favor you or the other person. That way both of you can share your stories, exactly how you're feeling, discuss it, work it out, maybe don't work it out, but that way you get all your feelings out without having someone take the other person's side.